Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor and it's XRP time. We've got some pretty good movement going on. XRP is leading the way. Wanted to mention to you, the group today is going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to show something that I can't show out here, and I bet 99% of the people listening to me either never saw it or don't remember it. And we're going to go into all the world's a stage file, and we're going to talk about crypto tax havens. You can go to daixrp.com to join through the Patreon, or you can click this join button right below any of my YouTube videos if you'd prefer to join through YouTube. I want to remind everybody, there's been some questions about how the security works on Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown, who is my partner, I'm an affiliate, these guys, not only do they have institutional custody, but they also have the protections that you're used to having, the two-factor authentication. You can see that's the first thing you want to set up. And then they also have a whole process for making sure that your stuff is not going to be stolen, and that they can verify that it's you. They even took a snapshot they take a snapshot of your face when you're getting set up and all. I mean, there's all kinds of safeguards that these guys have put in place. This is their approach to risk management, and it's important. This is important stuff. Client balances are held on a one-to-one basis denominated in each respective asset. Clients' balances are not traded. Balances are backed 100% full reserves. Assets on Caleb and Brown direct on-chain custody remain 100% of total liabilities. Caleb and Brown is never susceptible to running out of funds for withdrawals. Reserves are held in cold storage. Industry-leading cold storage. Fire blocks, unsupported assets are secured by Caleb and Brown's cold storage. Capital and hot wallets and exchanges for trading execution are funded by Caleb and Brown's operating capital. No other funds, no other use of clients' funds. Their balances are not traded without client direction. Client balances are not lent out. Balances are not used as collateral. Client balances are not staked. Financial audits, they have financial audits that are done. So it's a no-brainer. If you want to open an account, I made it easy. I created a domain that forwards to my Caleb and Brown page. Go to xrpwealth589.com and it'll take you right there. And that link is in the description of this video. XRP Las Vegas has just added 2 new people. Eleanor Terrett, who was with Fox Business, and now she's the host of Crypto America, I think it's called. And Greg Kidd, who's got the USBC stablecoin and has bought, I think he bought Vast Bank. He's going to be on stage. He's one of the first 10 guys at Ripple. He was one of the most interesting conversations I saw last year. Go to xrplasvegas.com to get your tickets, because this thing is about 30 days away now, folks. You better get them while you can. Here it is. Caleb and Brown actually has a page on their website that has one of these crypto heat maps. XRP up 6.21%, crushing everything else. Here's another look at it. We've got XRP at 231. Look what the top number one trending coin is, XRP. Here's what you won't see on CNBC. Look at your top 10 tokens in the this is Coin Paprika. Here's the return rates. XRP's up 357.51% on the year. Bitcoin's up 52%, but all CNBC and Bloomberg can talk about is Bitcoin. You have to wonder why, don't you? Let me show you another interesting number. These are the numbers of days from all-time high. You can't count Tether because it's a stable coin, but days from all-time high, 2,617 days ago. Now, what do you think the percentage chances are that Stellar has the exact same day that it hit its all-time high? It's the exact same amount of days away from hitting its all-time high. I don't think that's a coincidence. And one other thing I want to point out, by the way, is the fear and greed index was in the teens. It's gone up to 51 now. People are smelling this market changing. The reason XRP, I think the reason XRP has been going up the last few days or the last day or so is because they apparently the ProShares XRP ETF is about to go live here in a few days. This is the Modern Investor talking about it.
If everything that's currently happening between the tariffs and the interest rates, the accumulation, the cryptocurrency, the central banks, everything that's happening with the ETFs, and the list goes on and on, the only way to not make money from this market will simply be not being in this market. I went over a number before, and that number was drastically off. It's actually a lot higher. That's the good news, is that we have a brand new SEC chair who is incredibly pro-crypto. The good news is that apparently, when all these, remember in November, a lot of companies began to file cryptocurrency ETF applications, basically so that these things can actually go through, yada, yada, yada. Do you remember, I said before the number, I said 14, and then it was 17 for XRP. There are more than 17 filings for XRP. But you know what number I didn't get right? I said 44 for the entirety of all the cryptocurrency ETF applications. You know how many there actually are? There's more than 70.
More than 70. Now, I like this 589 Bull account putting out some good stuff. Monday morning briefing. You're waking up to history moving right in front of your face. XRP plus 7% overnight. Ripple and SEC 60-day pause filed. Translation, serious settlement talks are on. ProShares XRP futures ETF approved. First institutional floodgates open April 30th. Technical breakout confirmed. Big boy money positioning. Big boy money. Do you have your big boy pants on? That's my logo. Before the public even knows what's happening, South Korea lighting the match, 386 million in XRP KRW volume, and they're just getting started. Bottom line, settlement on deck, ETFs going live, supply drying up, retail still snoring. You either own your spot in history or you chase it later at 5 times the price. Make your move. I've already made mine. And then David Schwartz changed his profile to him in an army outfit. Let that picture in military fatigues, let that sink in. The CTO of Ripple, the architect of XRP Ledger, now publicly shows himself dressed for war, wearing U.S. Army tags and black star above his head. He knows exactly what he's doing. This isn't cosplay. This isn't marketing. This is a signal to people paying attention. We are entering the end game. Old financial systems collapsing in slow motion. New rails, XRP, real-world asset tokenization, CBDCs, cross-border liquidity hubs are firing up in the background. Global debt derivatives, settlement risk are coming to a head. And Schwartz just told you without saying a word, it's time. Not just prepare time, deployment time. XRP isn't a meme. It isn't a trade. It's the financial neutron bomb that's been waiting decades for the right moment to activate, strap in, or lock in. You choose. And then there's this. This was back in October 2024. But they're telling, this is somebody from Citi, they're trying to tell you.
Our long careers, but it does feel like we're in the midst of a once-in-a-lifetime shift. The architecture of finance, and by that I mean global currencies all the way down to payments, lending and deposits. It's unbundling bit by bit, and it's rebundling around a new, largely digital architecture. And this happened in trading over the last few decades, and it was an evolution. But what we're seeing now is more of a revolution, with new architectures supplanting old ones. And the way our industry has operated for decades, it's going to be replaced with new ways. And the scale and the speed required to serve our clients, it's of a completely different magnitude. So here at Citi, where we move over $4 trillion globally each day, where we enable clients to issue payments in 144 different currencies, where we do business in more than 160 different countries and are on the ground in nearly 100 of them, well, we have a deep appreciation for scale and agility. And we're seeing how the world is becoming more global and more local at the same time, and how it's becoming faster and how it's becoming more complex. We're reshaping our firm and our exceptional assets so that we maintain our relevancy and we continue to deliver for clients. Swift as the community that underpins global flows must make the same journey. Not just talk about it, but actually accelerate action. Because if traditional payments remain slow and comparatively clunky, as they are today, then it's a huge incentive for others to develop alternative, large-scale global payment systems that could be cheaper and much faster. Already, the convergence between new technology and shadow banking risks derailing years of our progress. There's always been unregulated financial activity, but the new technology has the potential to scale that globally to the detriment of the regulated sector and the clients and the consumers we serve. We simply can't afford the regulated sector to be perceived as technologically deficient to the unregulated sector, and that's why we must relentlessly modernize our regulated financial system through public-private partnerships and through communities that bring our industry together, such as SWIFT.
Okay. And then this is another little clip I wanted you to see. This is an earning yield on blue chip digital assets is the new sexy. I told you yesterday in the video, that's what you're going to see happen. How do 99% of these crypto go away? I believe that they're going to select a handful, 10 to 30, and they're going to consider those blue chip digital assets. These will be the digital assets that the financial system is built on, that everything's tokenized. I believe XRP will be at the core of that. Once they're designated as blue chip, the capital, they will get the majority of the capital into the next 10 years. The others will be set aside as more or less like penny stocks. And when that happens, the market that's been what you see on CoinMarketCap with all the 30,000 crypto, all of a sudden it's going to accelerate the liquidity flows into those chosen ones. And I've always believed XRP is the number one chosen one. And so, and then they're going to start giving yield and all of that. Here's somebody talking about these blue chips.
On the other hand, what we're doing at Securitize is actually
We're talking about the DeFi and when you get start getting returns.
being innovative in allowing investors to vault these tokenized assets to be able to mint stable coins on top of them and then go loop them in DeFi, right? So think about what you may be able to do using one of these assets as a really high quality collateral, but then go into a place like Morpho, right? And so today, you might be earning 9% on that Apollo credit fund, and you're very happy with it. And for some investors, that may be enough. But for other investors who want to think about the relatively illiquid nature of it, it only has quarterly redemptions, something like that. How can you enhance your return? Well, you can actually go and use that collateral to interact with the DeFi ecosystem and earn another 10, 11% on top of it. And so these are objectively measures that certainly outweigh their traditional counterparts, but is nonetheless still, very early days.
All right. And then we've got a guy calling for $210,000 Bitcoin from quantitative trading firm Presto.
So Bitcoin target price remains 210,000 and driven by institutional adoption and global liquidity expansion. For ETH, our target price was based on...
We don't have to hear anymore. Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com. Okay, that's the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click the join button right below this YouTube video. And I'm going to show you something I cannot and will not show you out here from years past and what my thoughts were when that Ripple case first dropped. And I'm going to show you a picture that might kind of bring that home. And then, what are the crypto tax havens around the world? I'm going to show you what those are. If you're like me and you have a family, you can't just jump up and go to some tax haven, but a lot of you have the freedom to do that kind of thing. So I'm going to show you where they are so you can go and look into it for yourself. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.